Is Xbox already lying to us? What's up, y'all? I'm Ray, and this is my channel, Xbox Ready, where we get on and we talk about Xbox stuff. The latest news, rumors, games, accessories. I talk about everything going on in the world of Xbox because I want to make sure that you are Xbox ready. Now, forgive me, guys, forgive me if this is about to sound familiar. I talk about Xbox news, and what's going on in the Xbox news cycle right now? Well, it's all about the new CEO, Phil Spencer's replacement, Asha Sharma. I've done a few videos covering all of the craziness surrounding this leadership shakeup. Honestly, it's been hard to keep up with it all. But there are some really frustrating things about Asha's first interview as CEO that I wanted to talk about, and what it means for you as a fan of Xbox. Pair that with some crazy accusations about Sarah Bond's departure and how the team internally feels about it at Xbox, and I was like, I gotta make another video. I just can't help myself. It's barely been a week since the news broke that she was taking over, and so far it seems that there are two camps of people. One, Asha is here to destroy and kill Xbox, just flood it with AI like all the other parts of Microsoft's business, and then some other people willing to give her a chance. Oh, well, you know, it's not like everything was coming up roses with Phil and the rest of the team, so maybe it's time for a shakeup. Maybe she can bring some positive change. In her first major interview with Windows Central, she had a great opportunity to clarify what direction Xbox is heading in. And while there were some good things, some promising things, I can't shake the feeling that we've been here before, that Xbox is once again lying to us. This starts out good. Asha's like, you know what, I want to return to the spirit of Xbox, what originally made Xbox great. The spirit of surprise, spirit of building something nobody else was willing to try. And while she hasn't been at Microsoft for too long, she's not really a gamer. This statement in and of itself shows that she has a pretty good understanding about what originally made Xbox great, because the original Xbox was a massive risk, especially when you consider how dominant PlayStation and Nintendo were in the home console market at the time. She then makes a commitment, kind of, to the Xbox console. For a lot of people, that is the #1 issue at the top of their mind. She says straight up, I am committed to Xbox, starting with the console. Xbox players have thousands of dollars invested in money and time too. It's incredibly important for me to understand that and protect that. I'm committed to returning to Xbox, and that starts with console, that starts with hardware. You will hear more about that soon. We'll have some announcements coming up. And yeah, that's exactly what a lot of people want to hear. They want their investment into this ecosystem to be acknowledged. We got a promise of upcoming hardware announcements. I assume that they might have something to share by the time June rolls around. And she throws out this concrete commitment to continuing to make hardware, which is important because a bunch of people believe that they're just gonna ditch hardware entirely and become a game publisher. There's some good things to take away from this. She could have dodged this entirely, been like, you know what, Xbox is all about like reaching players where they want to play. We're platform agnostic. And in this day and age where console hardware sales are just getting battered year in and year out, declining, that was an important thing to say. If she would have ended it there, I feel like a lot of people would have been happy, but she kept on going and she was like, yeah, but we also want to continue making sure our games work across a variety of devices. We want to help invest in helping developers build once and show up across different hardware experiences. We also know that there are a lot of players who aren't on console or are hardware, and I want to deliver great games to them too. So which one is it? Are we starting with the console first, or are we continuing with what Xbox has been doing over the past couple of years, you know, with the cloud, with PlayStation ports and all that? Maybe I'm being too harsh because both things can be true. Console can be first, and they can also be committed to all of this other multi-platform stuff, or sort of multi-platform stuff that they've been doing, which led Jez Corden to his follow-up question. He asked directly, would Asha or Xbox consider bringing back Xbox exclusives? And her response, the plan is the plan until it's not the plan. What in the Dutch van der Linde are we talking about here?
I have a plan. You just have to trust me.
I like her honesty and her transparency in this section, though. She says, I need to learn, candidly, about the why of these decisions, what we're optimizing for, and what the data says. She says nothing is off the table, so that can mean any number of things. Oh yeah, we saw the data, and it shows that putting Xbox games on PlayStation is bad, so we're gonna stop doing that. Or the data says that it's good, so we're gonna keep doing that. It could mean day and date multi-platform. It could mean ending exclusives entirely. It could mean, oh, they bring back time timed exclusivity? Who knows at this point? But on a positive note, she's straight up saying, listen guys, I need some time. I need to learn. I've only been at this for a few days. And to her credit, she could have easily come in and been like, yeah, you know what? I'm a really big fan of the trajectory that Xbox is on right now. So we're just gonna keep everything the same. We're gonna double down. No, she's saying like, I'm gonna look at the data, I'm gonna learn, and then we'll go from there. And that's fair. That learning period is gonna be a long time for Asha. She's gotta tour all the studios. She's gotta get familiar with their products and their games. And then when she's done with all of that, she'll be ready to make some moves, except one thing, gamers are notoriously impatient. Now, I've come to these conclusions based on reading this a bunch of times over, because at first, when you first go through it, this seems like a giant nothing burger, man. Like, this just seems like the same old shit that we've been dealing with over the past couple of years. We have been looking for concrete answers about how Xbox is gonna handle exclusives for years at this point. Ever since they all sat down on the Xbox official podcast and were like, it's just gonna start with these 4 games. And that's where the credibility and trust for a lot of people started to erode, because they left themselves a back door. They were like, you know what? You know, everyone's saying it was just gonna be 4 games, just gonna be 4 games. What we meant to say was, it starts with these 4 games. So why didn't they just say that from the jump? Why didn't they just come out and be like, you know what? We're gonna do these 4 games, and if it goes well, everything is on the table. Halo, Forza, Gears. Still, to this day, people don't know their strategy when it comes to exclusives. Some of them are day and date, like Fable, like Halo Campaign Evolved. Others are not, like Forza Horizon 6, Indiana Jones. No one really knows what's going on. And people are starting to get fed up with that. People want straight up answers, especially the ones that Asha is referring to in this interview, the people that have invested thousands of dollars into the ecosystem. Matt Booty had some things to add to this interview as well. The big thing is that he directly said that Xbox is not going to devolve into just a third-party publisher. He talked about their commitment to Xbox first party. No one really knows what that's supposed to look like. Like, what does a commitment to first-party content mean? What is it like in this world where there are PlayStation ports of Xbox games? They're saying all the right things. I want to believe them, but we've been here before. This is the guy that was in charge of Xbox Game Studios when Xbox was going around and saying, oh, Hi-Fi Rush is a huge success for us. You know, we need more games like this for the clout, basically, only for them to turn around and shut down the studio that made the game. He also went out of his way to mention, yeah, you know, there's no directives coming down from Microsoft saying that we need to use AI in game development. You know, if developers want to use AI in their process, they're totally free to do so, but there's no hard directives coming down from up top. That's a good thing to tackle, especially with all of the criticism surrounding Asha's past. But again, how long is that gonna last? Ultimately, if Microsoft wants them to do something, is there any way that they could possibly resist? Probably not. Or at least that's what we thought, but now Xbox has a new scapegoat, and that's Sarah Bond. In Tom Warren's report about the leadership shakeup going on at Xbox, he talked to current and former Xbox employees, and he said that most of them are actually relieved that Sarah Bond is leaving the company. That's a pretty crazy bit of information, especially since a lot of people on the outside were looking to Sarah Bond as Phil's heir apparent. There are some people saying that she was tough to work with, and if you didn't follow the vision or questioned it, you were out. This report also claims that the whole "This is an Xbox" campaign was entirely Sarah's idea. Now, the "This is an Xbox" thing has become like meme-worthy at this point, and it apparently offended a lot of employees internally at Xbox. His report also paints her as a champion of the Xbox everywhere strategy, which was allegedly very disliked internally and also failing. And that's actually crazy to hear, because when that thing first dropped, "This is an Xbox," I remember being like, what the is this? Like, my phone is not an Xbox. Yes, I can play Xbox games on it, but it's not an Xbox. There are so many things I can do on my console that I cannot do on my phone. That was my main criticism. And as time has gone on and they've actually put in the work on cloud gaming on the Xbox PC app, I've kind of come around to it, especially with this new dashboard that they're trying out for cloud gaming. But overall, if I'm being honest, that whole thing was a disaster for Xbox. If for nothing else, then it just caused a ton of confusion. Just like Xbox was kind of being cute and dancing around all of these questions that people want answers to, like, hey, what's the deal with exclusives? They were doing the same thing. They couldn't give us a straight answer about what an Xbox really was. That's not to say that Sarah didn't contribute anything to it. She was a major player in getting the Activision Blizzard deal across the finish line, and she did a lot of work to expand Xbox Play Anywhere. In a weird way though, if you're looking at these reports about Sarah, it kind of gives you more confidence in Asha and what she's saying. Like, yep, when I came in, a lot of people were really frustrated, especially with the things that Sarah was doing. Of course, she can't say that specifically, but you know, we're gonna take a step back, look at things, and then go from there. Lurking in the background of all of this is Matt Booty, who has more or less come out of this unscathed, and even secured a promotion even though a bunch of crazy stuff has happened on his watch. During his time as the head of Xbox Game Studios, they closed down a bunch of places, fired a bunch of people, and launched some pretty questionable titles like Redfall. And the reason at the time that he said that those closures happened was that they could reprioritize and focus on the titles that people actually want. I don't know if that was a resource thing or management thing. I don't know exactly what he was referring to, but considering that, you know, they had to delay Fable, we're still waiting around for Fallout 5, that reasoning kind of starts to, it's a little shaky. It's weird because also under Matt's watch, they had some really successful smaller games, like both Groundeds are doing really well. They just haven't had that like smash hit, mega AAA title. Starfield kind of fits into that category. It sold well, but critically, it was kind of up and down. It kind of makes you think though, why did Sarah Bond have to leave and Matt Booty gets to say he even gets a promotion? And the only thing I can really think of is that internally, Sarah Bond's moves to position, you know, anything as an Xbox really was a failure and very disliked internally. And unfortunately, right now, Xbox is finally getting to the point where they're shipping some really good quality titles, or titles that people are excited about at least. They have the content now, so Matt Booty's job is safe. They just need the right person and the right message to get that content into as many places as possible. Matt Booty, whether you like him or not, he has a ton of experience in the world of game development. And it would have been horrible optics to be like, okay, Phil is out, he loves video games, playing them all the time, and also Matt, who has experience in games, let's replace him with this girl who only has experience in AI and marketing. For all of the news and coverage that has come out over the past few days regarding this leadership shakeup, the frustrating part is that fans still don't know what to make of the whole situation. Sure, they're coming out and saying the right things for now, but we've been burned before. And in a way, Asha kind of acknowledges that. She's like, and in a way, Asha kind of acknowledges that in her interview with Windows Central. She says, "From here, the work is proof over promise. This team has brought it back before, and I'm here to help us do it again." And there's something to be said about that. She's acknowledging that, okay, Xbox isn't in the best place right now, but it can bounce back into something that fans are really proud of. From here, the work is proof over promise. That's also kind of like a tongue-in-cheek acknowledgement that they've made promises before that they weren't able to exactly live up to. Like I said in my previous video though, the next few months are going to be critical for Asha and her team. They need to clarify their stance on exclusives ASAP. They need to be transparent about their commitment to hardware and what that means. Are they going to change anything when it comes to Matt Booty's approach to managing studios and shipping their products? And eventually, all of that will lead to the Xbox Summer Showcase this June, which may be the most important show that they've done in years. No matter what happens though, I'm going to be talking about it here on the channel, so if you like my content, if you like Xbox, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.